Hello, my name's Charlotte Riordan and I head up the contemporary and post-war sales here at Lion & Turnbull. We have our first of the year kicking off on the 27th of January, and I wanted to shine a spotlight on a selection of nice works we have by the much-loved Scottish artist and playwright John Byrne. The works by Byrne that we have in this sale span his entire career, beginning with an early work which was signed, as his fans will know, under the pseudonym Patrick. We also have a lovely little drawing of him exploring one of his most common tropes really, which is the self-portrait. So there's me and little me, a lovely ink drawing really displaying his amazing skill as a draftsman really, with a young and old John Byrne looking at each other in the eye face to face. We also have an interesting monoprint. He dabbled in print making as well from time to time, so this is an interesting example of that, and very large scale print as well. It's quite unusual. And then finally, I wanted to draw your attention to one of my favourite lots in the sale, Ceci n'est pas un autoportrait. So obviously from the title we can tell that this is a homage to the famous painting by the Belgian surrealist René Magritte, which is Ceci n'est pas un pipe. We can probably trace quite a lot of Magritte's influence in Byrne's work. From the early days, he was also quite interested in French primitive artists like Rousseau, but there's often a kind of surreal, whimsical, slightly dark edge and sense of the uncanny in a lot of Byrne's work, which I think owes a debt to surrealism in quite large part. He was a massive fan of Magritte, and accompanying this portrait is a really wonderful backstory in which John Byrne wrote a letter as a 27-year-old struggling artist working mainly in a carpet design factory. And he sent a letter to Magritte, simply addressing it Magritte, Brussels, probably not with much hope of it ever finding the artist, but miraculously it did. And sort of unbelievably really, the Belgian artist took the time to write back to the young Byrne, which must have meant a huge amount at the time. So the letter that Magritte wrote back reads as follows. Like you, I have known what it is like to work as a draftsman in a factory. I had to paint in the evenings and on Sunday. I think each of us has had to get through these years of trial without hope and without despair. Life for me now is easier, but I know that there is nothing that can necessarily be learnt. So, although he wasn't able to hand over the key to success, there was empathy and solidarity and encouragement really to keep going on, which, I think must have made a huge impact on the young John Byrne working away. This was around circa 1967. So this work was painted in 2003, which was a high point really in Byrne's career. He was certainly starting to get the attention as an artist that he deserved, and was holding exhibitions with major galleries, including the Fine Arts Society. So this work is regarded, I think, fairly roundly as a significant piece in his career. And his biographer and author of his monograph, Robert Hewison, chose to feature this work on the cover of the book. And I think that's because not only is it a wonderful example of his skill, he's working in this lovely kind of chalky gesso-like paint, and there's this kind of scratchy element that we were familiar with his work. So not only is it a fantastic painting in its own right, and I think the significance of that story, that relationship he had with his artistic hero Magritte, really sets it apart as something special. And I've very much enjoyed handling it, researching it, and talking about it to you today. So as ever, me and the team are on hand to answer any questions you may have about any of the paintings in the auction. So please do get in touch, we can help you, and happy bidding if you decide to go for anything. Thank you very much.